Alrighty. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing out there? Welcome to, I guess, the inaugural Beardy Boys podcast. So, yeah, here we
That's
are
right.
with our first official episode, and we are finally getting into it. It's been something that we've been planning for quite some time, and I feel like, hey, it's right now it's March, and we got a lot of time ahead of us in the year, so let's make the most of this and let's get to it. So, starting out, I want to introduce the man over here to me, to my left on the screen. It is the amazing, the dependable, the durable Sin Poppy Rick.
I want to say durable, but okay.
He's also an asshole that cheats at rubber bandits.
And then
Get better. Get better.
oh gosh, get good, scrub. And then right down here, right down below at about the 5 o'clock position on the screen, we have the one and only, they call me Hat Guy, Mr. Chad Bartlett.
What's happening, y'all?
So, for if you can't put together why we are in fact calling this the Beardy Boys podcast, yeah, I think it might be a little obvious. You know, if
We got the face foliage going on.
yeah, we are down with the thickness, if you will, the thickness of the beard, and
Yeah, and yeah,
oh yeah,
also
and yeah, I got the thickness to go with it too.
Yeah.
So, today what we are going to be doing, this is our preliminary, first time we're doing this officially. We had some test runs before just to see how the chemistry was. Things went very well, so we're now full swing on this. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be basically doing a round table. We're going to be going clockwise on the screen, so that will go to Rick, then Chad, then me, in terms of covering topics. Each of us has selected a topic that we wish to look at and discuss, and we figured, hey, why not? Let's start with Rick. You talk about your topic here for the next little bit, and we will discuss and everything. So, Rick, what is it that you wanted to bring up to us?
So for the first question on this amazing podcast that you guys should be liking and subscribing to.
Yes, right now.
And also with that notification bell on all, not personalized, on all.
Yes.
My first topic for this amazing podcast with these two amazing men with these amazing beards.
I'm blushing.
Is YouTube has a new CEO that passed his first, I guess almost a law. He passed his first rule, reversing Susan's basically age restriction, limited ads when it comes to the language that is cussing. And
Profanity.
Profanity. What's your profanity?
Oh,
Damn, my voice cracked.
What's your profanity?
I got you.
Yeah. I just hit puberty again. Anyways.
I have that effect on people.
Yep. So the new rule essentially says that in the first 7 seconds, it's been more than 7 seconds now,
Yes.
as you cannot say fuck. And the other rule is to keep monetization, you cannot drop the F-bomb excessively. If you say any other curse words, bitch, shit, ass, tits, dicks, all that kind of stuff.
Wait, is still off the table?
Yes, it is still off the table.
Sorry.
Well, what the? Whoever's editing, this is your. Use that. Take that audio and put it. There you go.
I'm just checking, you know.
Chad just goes, doesn't care, doesn't even bother to think. Full send on just.
How about?
I almost got in trouble for that, dude. In a video, I was quoting a movie. It was during one of the Vanoss videos during the breakdancing thing that was going on in Sons of the Forest, and I was quoting "Stomp the Yard," and I don't know what it. I've been hanging out with Drew and Marcus too much. That's what's been going on, man. Because they drop it like all the time. And I quoted the movie, and I was just thinking in my head, I just mouthed it out, and I said it, and I was just like,
Well,
Ooh.
you just need to like paste in a copy of your ancestry thing. Just be like, I am covered for everything.
I got
So
my past.
if you go back 20 generations,
I was going to
you
say,
see right
if you
here.
look here, if you look here, I have the 7%, 7%
Mhm.
African ancestry. So I get like one every 2 to 3 years. I
Well,
get a
look,
pass
Elizabeth Warren tried to make her entire campaign based off of being Native American. Turns out she wasn't Native
She's not.
American at all. So
I was gonna say
I
you're
think
more
you're
native than
covered.
she is, dude.
Yeah,
Damn.
native to being a potato farmer, but that's
Well,
about
yeah.
it.
Well, a Dutch potato farmer because you've got
Yeah.
you Dutch and Irish. Um, so, but you were saying, in terms of like the changes that have happened, basically this is reeling back what they put in right before Christmas time, and what led to us getting those 2 strikes. Because
I
oh
also got
my
struck as well.
gosh, yeah,
I got multiple strikes.
and we got struck twice during that timetable, and I'm thinking to myself, would we have gotten struck if these rules were still because every time they make a change up to the algorithm or the rules or anything like that, it basically just as soon as the algorithm hits, it comes down like a sledgehammer.
Yep.
Because I know that Dan for TDM, who plays with or no RT Game, sorry. RT Game, he plays with Nogla, and he's Irish. He's very funny. But the thing is, like, half of his catalog got demonetized. Like half of them just gone, and he was like talking to constantly on YouTube, like, and on Twitter, just like, YouTube, what is going on? Like, you all said that this would stop. Like you said it was excessive, and you said like this is not supposed to happen, but yet it keeps happening. And eventually YouTube just stopped responding to him, much like how they stopped responding to us whenever
Yeah.
we tried to plead our case. And God, dude. It's just every time like there's a change, anytime there's a change, there's always growing pains, and there's always something that just completely just screws something up for some people who don't have the ability to talk to someone at YouTube, who don't have a
Yeah.
rep that they can talk to like around the clock. Like like us, like me and Chad, we don't have reps. But that's the thing with and you don't have one either, Rick?
Yeah.
Or do you, I was gonna say, like, you talk to you're the one who gave me like the main line on like how to get in touch with YouTube support and everything, and I appreciate that about you helping me out with that. I remember when Chad got those 2 strikes from that Markiplier video, those Markiplier videos. I
3.
basically just 3 strikes. Yeah, it was a 3 strikes,
Yeah.
and if I wouldn't have fought back against them, his channel would have been gone.
It'd be gone right now.
Yeah,
And I mean, it took a whole. You know how they say it's like it takes a village to raise a child. It
Yeah.
takes a village to keep your YouTube channel up.
Yeah.
Like it took me, it took Nate, it took a couple people in my Discord. There were people doing all kinds of stuff, and eventually they relented on 2 of them. We had to
Yeah.
keep one of them for a while, but 2 of them we beat.
yeah.
But had we not, I would no longer be on the platform.
Yeah, honestly, man, just looking at stuff like that, it's scary. It's scary, like how
Yeah.
quickly. Because I've been doing YouTube for almost 10 years now. Like I'm coming up on my 10th anniversary this year, and it's scary to think that at any given point, one little mistake, one thing that happened years and years ago before the changes that took place, all of a sudden
yeah.
just completely
Yeah.
nixes everything that I've done. And
Yeah, that was my 2 strikes.
Yeah.
yeah.
The day that Susan basically installed that rule of it being like no cursing at all, like in the first, like 7 seconds or first minute, like first 7 seconds, no cursing, no, not even censored. And then even a minute, you can't even have it censored. Because of that, a lot of my stuff got limited. And I had a video that was approaching basically 3 years old, a compilation that got me a strike. And then, what was it? No, it was a soup compilation that got me a strike. So that was my first warning. And then a week and a half later, was a McNasty compilation that got strike when he got striked as well for his best of. So he released the best of 2022, and every single video that he used in that best of was a greenlit video. They gave him a strike on that best of. So it's like
it makes no sense.
It makes no sense. It's like all the videos, all the clips he used came from videos that the platform itself greenlit.
Yeah,
it wasn't limited. It was nothing else, but it triggered a strike. Not even limited. I could probably see limited, maybe because a whole bunch of clips might have excessiveness and whatever. You have back-to-back clips could be quote unquote excessive. I could see that standpoint.
Yeah,
strike.
Yeah, that's a bit much.
Yeah, dude.
Well, and
I hope this new policy. But like you were saying.
Well, and I'm thinking the whole thing. YouTube has the power. Like they have the copyright claiming system, which basically, looks at specific sections of your video and tells you, hey, you have the option to mute the audio. You have the option to delete that section out of your video. Why can't they do? Yeah, why can't they do that with clips that it now is in violation of the community guidelines? Why strike
because
the whole?
That's logical.
The whole video? Well,
you're expecting them to be logical.
Well, now I'm expecting them to be a multi-billion-dollar company that is the subsidiary of one of the only trillion-dollar companies in the world, and actually put forward some effort into like making their platform more accessible to not just people who are new to the platform, introducing shorts and making it more like TikTok, but also helping out the ones who have been here long enough, the ones who helped build this platform, and basically made it what it is by assisting them in ensuring that their videos get to stay up, even though the rules have changed.
Well, for sure, legacy rules would be nice.
Yes.
Even if they went, these rules changed, you can no longer monetize on these videos, but we're not going to strike your channel for it. And if you want to remonetize on them, this is the problem. Go fix it, and we'll remonetize it.
Exactly.
Instead of throwing you in the gulag to never be seen or heard from again.
Yeah. Like why would you strike a 30-minute video, a 30-minute reaction for a 2 to 3 second clip of something that may or may not violate community guidelines, instead of just being like, hey, remove this section from your video and we'll be good? That's all you need to do. That's it. It's just like, and the YouTube editor, you can make cuts like that, and it's done, and usually like it's finished processing within a couple of hours. And, what's
I would love to have an email, or like when the moment you're on your YouTube creators studio, and you would get you get warnings for copyright, you get warnings for other stuff, and I would love to get a warning and say, hey, this video, if this part is not edited out, will receive a strike. You have 7 days to either remove, mute, or cut or trim this part of the video.
Yeah, either that or
I think that's fair.
Yeah, and not only that, but they could do it like if it's a severe one, strike. But if it's something that is demonetizable, they'll be like, the video will be demonetized if you upload it as is. But if you redo this, then we'll look at it again, and if that part is removed, then you're able to be monetized again. Because if the video
sometimes that doesn't even work either.
Huh?
That part doesn't even work sometimes either, because there's so many YouTubers I've seen that they'll remove the part that they would get limited ads for a certain part of the video, and they'll go on Twitter and say, hey, what is the timestamp that's making this video limited ads? And then the YouTube bot on Twitter, which sucks, you have to go on a different platform to get communication on a different platform itself. So instead of going to YouTube or going to the YouTube studio and go into the little chat box area, you have to go to Twitter to chat with them, which makes no damn sense. But I've seen so many times with Ash, with Tuxie, with Wozens, with Ty, with Matt, with all these people.
Yeah.
They will say, what's the timestamp that's making this video limited? Same thing with McNasty and Soup. And the bot will respond 2 or 3 hours later. Oh, send me the link, or put the link, and we'll have a human person to analyze it. Boom. It'll say from 5 minutes, 32 seconds through 5 minutes and 48 seconds. This 10 seconds is why it's limited. They will then take the video down, go back into the editing, or go back to the editor. They'll edit that part out, re-upload it, and it's limited again. Then they'll go back to the drawing board. Okay, I removed the part you said that was limited. What's it now? Oh, it's actually 712 to 724. Okay, you go back to the editor. I need you to edit out 712 to 724. Okay, re-upload it. Limited ads.
Jesus
YouTube,
Christ.
why is this still limited ads? I just cut this video 2 different times. What else is it? Oh, from 8:56 to 9:03, this clip says C word. There's no, I said country. Oh, the bot heard the other word. But no, I said country.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, we'll look into it. And it takes 4 days for them to reverse. And after the 4 days, the video is already hit its peak and is done.
Yeah, and you've already been demonetized that whole time. And even if they do remonetize it, you're not going to get almost like you're going to get like 30% at most out of what you would have made off of it if it was monetized from the beginning. Because and I hate that, dude. I hate the fact that is that that YouTube just hides behind the idea that their inability to actually make something that will benefit creators, and instead I can understand them wanting to improve the platform and make it more accessible to the next generation. YouTube Shorts, I understand. I mean, heck, we're going to be posting YouTube Shorts on this channel, and and that's something that I'm very happy about. And at the same time, it's just like it basically, if you want to assist your creators, if you want to make it to where the creators are able to stay on this platform and not have to go somewhere else, like Rumble or oh God forbid, any of those other platforms that are popping up out of nowhere, and everyone's saying like oh, this is the next YouTube. It's like, no, it's not. No, it's not. And because YouTube has such a chokehold on video, like media consumption out there, they make up like 82% of the market, which is crazy. And people talk about TikTok and Instagram and all that. TikTok is, I think, 18 or like not 18. It's like 13% of market share, and then there's Instagram, and then there's everything else. Like YouTube just has such a massive amount of control over the whole thing, and it's very disheartening when they don't help the creators who are who have been here since the beginning. Well, not since the beginning, but here for a decade, like me. And for how long have you had yours, Rick?
I think I'm approaching 4.5 years now.
Yeah. And Chad, you've been at it. You and Nikki have been at it for like the last
couple of years.
Yeah, 2-3 years.
Yeah.
And you see, I think it would really benefit if YouTube would take that more seriously, because if videos are demonetized but yet they're able to be remonetized, that means YouTube's able to make money again, and it's a mutually beneficial thing.
They'll make money. They'll make money off your videos that aren't monetized. Are you kidding me? They'll still run ads on them, even though you can't.
Yeah,
they'll limit your part. They don't limit theirs, and that's a part that also makes no damn sense. When you strike certain things or you limit certain things, at the end of the day, if we get paid, they get paid.
Yes,
they take a bigger share out of our work than we do.
Mm-hmm.
I think the current split for a CPM is like 55%.
Yes,
they take 55%. We keep 45. So if they limit us and drop our views, they're also dropping their revenue on their end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they are.
So it's like you're literally attacking yourself.
It's rage against the machine, man. Like at this point, when things go well, like maybe they are now, I celebrate and I'm like, thank God. I treat it like the weather, man. If it's raining outside, there ain't nothing I can do about it. But it is, it is what it is.
Yeah. All right. So, now, Chad, we're gonna move on to what you wanted to discuss now.
I'm gonna bring up one fresh that we didn't talk about beforehand. This is some crazy shit that I learned about like just yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So for the longest time, emulation on Android was limited to like the Wii and the GameCube were like the newest consoles you could emulate because of the Dolphin emulator. Well, maybe about a year and a half ago, there was a new one called AetherSX2 that just,
Yeah, I
hit
know
the
that one.
scene, and you could finally emulate a PlayStation 2 on an Android device. And that means phones, even some of the TV,
Yeah.
Android TV boxes and stuff, you could emulate PS2.
Rick proceeds to stare at his
Hold your
Android.
horses. Hold your horses. Don't download it off the Play Store because the guy who created it started getting some criticism, did not handle it well, and then
Mm.
he started receiving death threats to him and his family from people that are like,
Ooh.
this is piracy. You're stealing from the blah, blah, blah. People who are like, this game that came out in 2002, you're robbing, just crazy opinions. Lunatics,
Yeah.
threatening
Yeah.
him and his family.
Yeah, a game that came out in 2002 that Sony hasn't re-released on their
Yeah,
platform or anything. Yeah,
exactly.
I'm really stealing from Sony, playing a game that you would have to buy a console that you can't buy new anymore,
hmm
secondhand. Yeah,
It,
right,
it would
right.
all be secondhand market, but he kind of went on the fritz, it seems. The developer of the app,
Yeah.
it has just kind of went hog wild and has re-uploaded a new version to the Play Store that is not as good, and it has ads. It's bogged down with ads now. And
Oh,
he has put it up as a upgrade, an update to the app. So if you go update that app now, it just ruins the whole thing. So
damn,
he is in a war right now. His Discord mods booted him, kept the link to download the original app, and are trying to
damn.
protect what was originally there, which was the app, AetherSX2, that is an incredible PlayStation 2 emulator. But there's a war going on right now that a lot of people aren't aware of, where he's trying to sabotage his own project and his mods are trying to save it. So there's this huge battle going on. And I know a lot of people, really,
Wow.
me included, were just like going ape shit over the fact that this application existed, because it was like, I don't know, Dolphin's been around forever.
Yes.
And it was just
Hmm.
like, when are we going to be able to play PS2 games? When are we going to be able to emulate? Because it's not far off when you can emulate GameCube. It's not far
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
So, but it took like a decade. And then it finally happened randomly. I heard no buzz about it. I heard nothing about it until it was just there. And it worked like fresh out of the box. As soon as you downloaded it, it worked. There
Yes.
were some tweaks that you had to do depending on what you were using. But now, because of the death threats and the criticism has kind of tripped this guy out, he seems to be hijacking and destroying his own work, and the community that was built around it is now trying to protect it. It's just a crazy situation that's going on.
Well, it sounds very similar to the Star Mazer situation that happened. I forget how many years ago, but there was a music producer named Alex Maurer who made music for this game, Star Mazer,
Mm,
and anyone who recorded gameplay footage of it online for like a Let's Play or anything like that, it didn't matter. Like it was for a review. It was for. It didn't even have like their music in it. Like it all it had to have was footage from the game. Alex Maurer went and struck down every single video online.
damn.
Like literally, it was like thousands and thousands of claims of just like blocking and blocking and blocking. And eventually, the creator of the game was just like, dude, what are you doing? And Alex was just like, I changed my mind. I don't want my music being used in the game. And I've seen how people are with with their criticism of it and everything, and I don't like it. I just want my I just don't want my music up on the platform, without my consent. And it's like, dude, you gave your consent to have your music used in the game.
Yeah.
Like that's in a contract. And Alex Maurer didn't care. Alex Maurer just went and like opened up 3 or 4 lawsuits against various people, like the developer of the game, the director of the studio, against YouTube, against Google rather, and against like one video game critic. I forget who it was. And Alex Maurer just dragged it on for years and years and sabotaged like everything. Like Star Mazer had to pull the game down from like stores and all that until legal proceedings were done, and basically like almost killed the dev studio. And and it's just some people just go off the deep end, and you can never predict what they're going to do, especially when they get it in their head that the whole world is against them, and some people just, I hate to say it, hate to quote Alfred, but some people just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah.
That's just the truth of it.
Look at Flappy Bird. Flappy Bird was doing amazing, and then they took it down. The reason why he took it down was a little bit more wholesome, but that still kind of like killed his business. Because he said people were too addicted to it, and he didn't want to, I guess, endorse addiction towards a app game, and people stay on their phones for hours and hours. So that's the reason why he took it down. But I think he was interviewed, and he was saying that he was making between $45,000 to $55,000 a day.
Damn.
A day. He was making $45,000 to $55,000 a day.
That's
and
crazy.
He cut that because people were getting too addicted to his own game.
Well, yeah, too much of a good thing, but at the same time, it's like if I'm making that kind of money, it's like you cannot put a cap on people's vices. I hate to say it. I mean, I hate to like pull the libertarian card out, but people have their vices, and people are going to do what they want to do, and it's about them maintaining self-control. And eventually, people would get sick of Flappy Bird. I hate to say it, but everyone said, "Oh, Angry Birds. People are just going to play Angry Birds forever." Where's Angry Birds now? And it's like it's like, oh, people are only going to play Minecraft. They're not going to play anything else. Like they're going to be addicted. And Minecraft fell off, and then it came back again, but now it's fallen off again. And it's just the cycle, dude. Like eventually, people get sick of a game and they move on to something else.
Just add what Netflix have. They have a little warning. Just let like after an hour. Do you still want to continue? Or like how TikTok is. After you scroll for a while, you have a promoted clip on TikTok, and as a Moreno, and it comes by, he says, "Whoa! Yes, you guys been scrolling for a little too long. How about you take a break?" So it's like these companies has that mindset. They know their apps are addicting, or people will binge stuff. But you have like Netflix, you have TikTok that will give you a little warning. Hey, you've been on the app for a little too long. How about you take a break? Well, you could have easily done that, and
it's different. It's different from a game versus an app, because an app like TikTok, where it's like billions of different flavors of whatever the hell you want, whereas it's only one flavor of Flappy Bird.
Yeah, I mean, after like 30 minutes of playing, or like the moment you die after 30 minutes, hey, you've been playing for 30 minutes, or okay, how do you have like Call of Duty or any other games? They had like little hints to pop up, whatever, a little notification. Yeah. Like the moment you die after you've been playing the game for 30 or 45 minutes, you get a notification. Hey, make sure you take a break in between sessions of 30 minutes or whatever. Like at least a little incentive. Every 30 minutes, just drop a little warning. A little warning.
Right.
Kind of get people to like, okay, yeah, maybe I've been playing this game too long. Because sometimes when I'm watching Netflix and I see that, are you still watching? I'm like, damn, I actually watched 7 episodes. Let me just I'll watch it tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's something, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in terms of emulation, though, I mean, you look at how far emulation's come over the last 5 to 7 years. It's just like, dang. I mean, you look at the leaps that Dolphin made. Like adding in Wii support, GameCube support, and then
they're really close to being able to emulate PS4 right now.
Damn.
I can see that.
Switch is already 100% good.
Yeah.
Switch is already, they're really, especially if you've got a Steam Deck or one of those high-end emulation devices.
Mm-hmm.
The PSP was ahead of its time. If they get components of the PSP and combine it into a phone,
oh my gosh,
you can easily emulate PS3, potentially PS4 games in that.
Dude, the PSP emulator, what is it, PPSSPP?
Yeah,
that thing has been around since like 2012 or something, and it is a beast. Like it runs perfect. And even the PS3 emulator that's out right now for PC, if you've got a PC that can handle it, they've almost got the whole catalog you can emulate now.
Damn.
I mean, it's unbelievable. Emulation has come a long way, And the people that are rallying against it to just like, oh, it's theft, it's all this stuff, they really need to shut up and realize that without that, video game conservation efforts might as well just die.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a lot of, I guess, hypocrisy with a lot of these
Mm-hmm.
things, because you have emulations, you have these. Sometimes a lot of these developers that made these games for PS2, or let's say like Xbox, but like these original consoles,
Mm-hmm.
either a lot of them are dead and gone, a lot of them are bankrupt, or they're still prevalent to this day, but those projects are now dead and gone. Like for example, Jack and Daxter, that was very
Mm-hmm.
big in PS2 era,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but Jack and Daxter has been gone since PS2.
I hate.
Well,
But the point I was trying to say was
ahead.
basically, like with all these things, with like these developers, it's like, okay, it's like a lot of them are dead and gone. They already made their money from that game. They're onto new projects. But even if you emulate it, it shouldn't be the problem. But again, you still have other people, like for example, the game that you've been streaming, Chad, Hogwarts Legacy.
yeah.
There's so many people oppose of it because obviously I don't want to get too deep into that part, but people opposed it because of the creator of the IP's views,
Yeah.
and people are so for pirating that game. So you had a big mob of people saying pirate Hogwarts Legacy, and then now you're getting people saying, "Oh, you shouldn't be doing emulators because that's taking away money from the developers." But sometimes that same crowd is the same people saying pirate Hogwarts Legacy because of their views. So it's like you can't win.
The real thorn in the side of emulation is the people who have the physical games, who actually own a lot of these games that are rare. Like they don't want people emulating Conker's Bad Fur Day. They don't want people emulating whichever game that costs $1,000 or something, because it's all really, at the end of the day, to them, a dick measuring competition. And if they've got it and you don't, they don't want you to have access to it because it makes them so much cooler than you, because they do
Yep.
have it. And you should
Yep.
be a part of this elite club or you can't play it. And it's like, for a lot of people, their
Oh, boy.
collectibles are their only sense of entitlement. So they don't want that touched. They don't want their egos bruised. They want to be high on the hog and looking down on everybody else. And if you get to have knowledge of a game and be enjoying it and understand what it's about and stuff, then you're checking their box that they've paid so much money for. And trust me, I've got games that make me sick to think about how expensive they are now, but I wouldn't give a fuck less if somebody's emulating it.
Yeah.
And it's the same with Pokemon cards and stuff like that. A lot of people aren't even in it for the joy of owning the cards and appreciating what they are. They're in it to be like this much better than somebody else in some way.
I got Charizard. You don't.
Yeah. It's like, so what? I've got the cards that I want pretty much now. Like, I don't really want anything else.
Yeah, I go for cards that I strive for. If I get it, I get it. If I don't, all right, that's fine. I'll go for the next set. Whatever is the big thing for that set. If I don't get it, all right, I'll wait for the next set. Like it's not. I don't care if I get every single possible hit from each set that comes out. That's like every 2 or 3 months, and it's like, again, it is a dick measuring contest, because if people have it, they want to showcase it. Like somebody that had a necklace of their graded card, and now they made it worth $1 million. But because of that kind of hype, people are probably buying knockoffs on eBay and like, oh look, I got it too, and they think that they have the biggest penis in the world, and like, no, it's.
I really hate the whole trend of like collectibles and gaming stuff and just all this stuff. Like, you see something cool, you can't even appreciate what it is. The biggest highlighted thing about it is the price tag, and it's like, I don't care about how much it's worth.
And it sucks for the collector, because there's people who are trenders and there's people who are collectors. And like, obviously I can see your background, you can obviously see my background with my Pokemon stuff. We're both collectors. And because of the trenders, it skyrocketed all the prices. I was used to elite box being $30. Now elite boxes are $55-$60. Booster box being $80. Now it's like $200.
Well, if it's Japanese, it's more than that now, because the Japanese stuff just went. There's cards that are in circulation right now that are well over $1,000, and I'm just like, you know what? I was going to start collecting Japanese cards instead of American cards, but now I just get the English ones because they're cheaper now. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you just wait
whatever.
because obviously Japan gets the first.
Hmm.
But if you just wait for the English set, then it is way cheaper.
But the main thing that I wanted to bring up was just to caution people, don't download the new version of AetherSX2 off the Play Store.
Yes.
Go to their Discord. The moderators there are also working on improving the app, and they'll be releasing better versions of it there. But just avoid the Play Store because it's going to be, there's just some really fucked up shit going on with that whole situation.
Well, honestly, man, it's good. It's good that put it out there, so people know. And where I've been trying to get my emulation stuff up and running, it's good to know. It's like, hey, steer clear of the bullshit.
Don't update that one.
I don't plan on it. Uh, all right though, but okay, moving on to my subject of the day. Uh, the everyone's aware of banking, right? Yeah, yeah. You put your money in the bank. You leave it there for safekeeping, and it's supposed to be there whenever you need it. What if you go there and you try to withdraw your money, and they won't let you because
I've had that happen before.
they've lent out too much money.
Mm.
So basically, that's exactly what happened with Silicon Valley Bank. Silicon Valley Bank. This is the second biggest bank failure in U.S. history. It's the biggest one since 2008. So,
Wow.
yeah, in 2008, the banking and housing crisis of that year really did a number on a lot of people's finances. And
Huge.
I can really say, that, the pandemic, and now this, they're saying, it may be, something on the horizon, which, save your money, people. Save your money. Be careful. And my whole deal with it is whenever you have banks that invest out too much money, there needs to be safeguards that takes care of the people's money that's in there. It's like, oh, so we're able to only invest X amount of the people's money that has been put into the bank. But it's not like that. Instead, a lot of banks are able to get away with it. A lot of credit unions get away with it too, because credit unions, they basically lend out whatever the hell they want, however the hell much they want, and people are just like, whatever. And my whole deal with the banking, just all that, I really worry that as independent creators like we are, independent business operators, if we go into, we invest in put our money in a bank and everything, and we don't have that anymore, it's like, well, now what? Now what?
Screwed.
Yeah, because I'm not able to pay Nick. I'm not able to pay my editors. I'm not able to pay the utilities on this house. I'm not able to pay for my internet. I'm not able. And when you think about and Silicon Valley Bank, it was literally Silicon Valley. This is one of the hotbeds of technology in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And for it to wind up like that, Jesus, man. Oh, and not only that, but the federal government decided we're going to bail it out. We're going to give them, I think it was $416 billion.
Well, that's what happens whenever the federal government is also like, you know what? Do we need to regulate them? No, they know what they're doing. We don't need to regulate them. They're putting money in our back pocket. Let them do whatever they want. And you know what? That's the thing with, politics, especially in America. There's no middle ground. It's like deregulate everything from one side,
Or
and then the other
regulate
side's
everything.
like regulate it to death on one side. It takes both. It takes understanding where that fine line is and working until you get to it.
Balance.
Instead of
Balance.
strip this away, no, strip that away. It's like, well, the Democrats did this. They made it too hard for us to do business, so we're going to rip everything apart. Oh, I don't know. All of a sudden, a bunch of trains start crashing because you took all the rules away.
Yeah.
Oh my God, banks start
look at
crashing
Texas.
because you took all the rules away.
Yeah. Look at Texas with that snowstorm. Basically, the whole entire state was out of power. because they didn't want to regulate their power station. They want
You
to make
have
it
there. Look, overregulation will kill business, and
exactly.
deregulation will also kill business. There is
Yeah.
a fine line. There is a balance to everything, and it seems like we've strayed away from, cooperating.
Well, no, there's no middle ground anymore, dude. It's like you. It's like
Yeah.
you were saying. It's like, for instance, it's like anytime I have a conversation with anyone who identifies as liberal, and we agree on something. It's just like, oh, I agree. We need to make cannabis fully legal in the United States. Oh, we need to allow gay marriage and stuff like that. Oh yeah, we're all on board. But then I'm like, but I also want to keep my guns, and they're just like, freaking like Republican, you neo not. Yeah, they immediately just jump on
Mhm.
when you disagree with them on one thing, one little thing. They go off the deep end, and the next thing you know, they're treating you like a leper. Like they're
Mhm.
like your ways that are different than them are gonna rub off on them somehow and turn them into a monster. And it's just gotten to the point.
It's all or nothing, dude.
It
It's all or
is.
nothing.
It became like a gang in a sense, because you have one people on the one side that are opposed entirely against the other side.
Yes.
Before it used to be at least a little communication, a little bit bipartisan. Now it's all right. We're gonna do everything in our power to vote against whatever they want to do, and it's the same thing and
Yeah.
vice versa.
And
The
it's
only
like-
thing that I've seen recently where both sides agree is over the January 6th thing.
everyone
Like,
was just like, yeah, that was fucked.
yeah, that was stupid. That should have never happened. And
Yeah.
and that whole thing has been totally hilarious the way it's been covered. The Tucker Carlson thing where he was all acting like, oh,
God.
there were just tourists walking through there. And then his text messages got leaked where he was talking about how much he despised Trump. That shit was funny as hell.
Well, you never know. People put on a face, they become a talking head. That's all they.
It's
that's
his
all they
job.
Do, man.
He
Yeah.
follows a script. That guy's a fucking puppet, dude.
They're
So-
chattering heads, dude. That's all they are anymore.
Yeah, they're figureheads.
Yeah, and as much as I hate to say it, you look at just how finances are in this country and where all the money is. There are several things that definitely need to be reined in. Number one, in my opinion, the healthcare industry. Like just health insurance companies, and you hear Asher, he's borking up a storm back there.
Healthcare, hell yeah.
Yeah. So I
Free
think
vets.
I think the whole thing with it is just everyone just lines up on one side or the other, and they just like fire shots, and there's no middle ground. There's no
all the while the shit they're arguing about falls apart while they're fighting.
Yes. And then eventually it's just like, well, it's too late to do anything about it now. Might as well just move on. Forget about it. Let's just move on. And before you know it, every bank has been bailed out. Every executive of that bank has had their pockets lined and everything, instead of it, going to the people whose money literally disappeared. Instead, it's like, oh no, I'm an executive. I'm going to write myself a big ass bonus check from this stipend that they gave us to keep us afloat. Ugh.
Well, they fucked up and when they gave everybody those fucking COVID checks because they proved that they can do it the other way around.
Yes.
They've proved that they don't always have to bail out the companies. Sometimes they can bail out the people.
Yeah.
Am I smart enough to know whether or not that was a good move? No. Am I smart enough to tell you how to regulate the bank? No. But do I realize that you guys are smart enough to know what you're doing? Yes.
Yes.
There's people in those positions, a large majority of the time, are smart enough to put on a ruse like they're doing something when they're really just lining their own pockets. But they do have the ability, if they were to actually do their jobs, to make some progress.
Yeah. When you look into the COVID stuff, like you had the SBA teaming up with the government with the PPP loans.
Mm-hmm.
So you had small businesses getting like checks of like maybe 10,000, 15,000, but these mega million billionaires getting 40 million, 100 million dollars from the PPP loans.
as if they need it.
Well, it was to keep them from going into a loss for the first time. A lot of these places would have been just fine if they would have just ate, a ham and cheese sandwich like everybody else, but they still wanted caviar.
They still
and
want
they just
filet
kept that.
mignon.
They were, because if you look at that situation, it was CEOs still getting record profits. That's the thing. Nobody can operate at a fucking even line or even a small loss anymore. It has to be year after year record profits or they're not happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
It's like
me,
oil.
like for me, dude, you give me an X amount of money a year, I can live off that and I can just put the rest away. I don't need unless I'm reinvesting it. I'm pulling a Mr. Beast. I'm literally reinvesting every penny that I make. Then I can understand, wanting to make record profits. But if all I'm doing is lining my own pockets and I'm not doing anything to benefit anyone else, I can understand like a private business owner, takes that loan and pays the money out to his employees that he's having to hold off on. Like that's good. But,
I'm sure that happened, in certain
every now and
circumstances.
100%,
every now
100%.
and again, and we need to praise those people that do that. But it's way too often that you read about just like all the people who abuse that. They abuse that just the loans and everything that they get from the federal government to just give it to themselves, and
Yep.
for no reason other than the fact that they feel like that they can just get away with it.
Yep.
And that they
Not-
deserve it. They're
Yeah.
owed that. Yeah.
yeah, not to stir the pot, not to stir the pot, but it's like I'm not gonna say the person's name because I don't want get anybody riled up. But let's just say that there's a certain person that runs a mega church that also has a mega mansion,
And as a part owner of an NBA team,
and he got, I think like what, he had a check of 55 million or 40 million from the PPP. And he's running around in Lamborghinis and Ferraris and all these type of cars, and it's like, did he really need that 40 million?
It was God's will, Rick. All right.
it's just like I was just gonna say it. God wanted me to have a Lamborghini. God wanted me to put 2 extensions on my mansion.
Hey, and if he didn't, how the hell did it get there?
Exactly.
Yeah. But that's definitely, when it comes to the big banks and stuff like that, I am totally fine with holding them accountable for shit like this.
Yes.
By sending motherfuckers to prison. Because if I went and stole somebody's money like that, I'd be buried under the jail.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Oh yeah. It's like and you steal it from them, you go to jail. They steal it from the people, and it's just like, oh well, it was a mistake, and they won't do it again.
People make mistakes, yeah.
Yeah. Jesus.
No, thank you.
What is your opinion on people having relations in the workplace?
You want to take this one first, or you want me to jump on it, Nate?
Well, okay. I'm looking at this as the outside man looking in because I'm the only one here who's not in a stable relationship. Rick is in a stable relationship. Chad, you're in a stable relationship. Me, I look at this as just like, if I'm hiring somebody, I'm not looking for a potential romantic interest. You see, if I were in a business like Rick talked about him being employed with a certain like big chain, and he was a manager. Now, if he got involved with someone who was under him and favored her and pulled her up the chain of command and passed over other people, that's messed up. And also using her and basically saying, currying favor, just like, hey, if you go out with me, I'll put in a good word for you with the board, and we'll see if we can't get you moved up a little bit. You see, when there's stuff like that going on, it's like when there's business mixed with stuff like that.
What is it? Quid pro quo, they call it.
Yes.
You do this for me, I do this for you.
Whenever there's stuff like that, I am just completely against it, and I'm just like, anytime that happens, anytime I hear about that happening, I have no sympathy for the people who are involved. But if it's a strictly platonic relationship that pops up, that springs up, for instance, I think it was whenever like at Rooster Teeth Achievement Hunter, Lindsey Jones and or Lindsey and Michael got together, and and they're married and they have two kids, and it's great. They enjoy working together, and they enjoy spending their time together and all that. And it was something that popped up whenever someone was above the other in terms of like the food chain in terms of command.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say it depends on the circumstances. And overall, like if you're talking about a CEO fucking around with like a mail, like just like someone down in the mail room, and basically just like pressuring them into doing something, that CEO needs to be kicked the fuck out. But if you're talking about two mid-level workers just hitting it off, going on a date, and then all of a sudden they find themselves just like thinking about each other, and they have a relationship, okay. But as long as their relationship doesn't affect their work or anything like that, I mean that's the other thing too. Because if the relationship doesn't work out, remain professional. It just don't let personal bullshit get in the way of you making a living
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and potentially fucking it up for everyone else. So what do you
Yeah.
think, Chad? I mean,
I'm not going to speak on the power dynamic thing
uh
because I just feel like that there's been a whole lot of talk about that. And it's more so like, is it even a good idea in general, regardless of the power dynamic? Like, if you're even on the same level with somebody,
yeah,
I can speak from that experience because on my channel, Nikki and I work together. So I am in a relationship. I'm in a long term, 7 year going on 8 relationship with somebody that I work with every day, all the time. And I can tell you, you do not separate that shit. If
no,
we are having problems, it makes it hard as fuck to do this. It makes it nearly impossible to stream, to record, to talk about ideas, to handle the finances. It interferes with every aspect of our business if there's a problem between us. It's inevitable and it will cause you problems. Don't shit where you eat. Do that shit separately if you have a choice. Now, the chemistry for us on camera, the chemistry for us whenever we're doing our thing is largely beneficial. That part of it is, it
yeah,
affects the business in that way also. But I have friends in much more professional circumstances who have had to deal with, you know, I sleep with this person from the office, we're colleagues, and that transfers into the workplace. People start talking, somebody's feelings get hurt. There's a big thing that happens, especially in culture nowadays. It used to not be this way, but it is that way now, where regret is seen as assault. If
Yeah.
you sleep with somebody and it was consensual and everything was good, the moment that it's not, that can retroactively be like, well, did I only do that because of this? Or
yeah.
was this
That's
involved? It can turn
complications.
into a whole bad situation because, I mean, there's situations that I've been in the past, not in like romantic relationships, but just even in like friendships, where I look back at it now and I'm like, this person is no longer the person that I used to be friends with. And because of that, I feel weird about our friendship. I kind of wish that that didn't even happen. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? So, to a certain degree, I understand the retroactive looking at things from where I am now in a different light. But like, you don't want to bring that kind of work is difficult enough.
yeah,
You don't want to add the romantic, possibly sexual, possibly emotional
mm-hmm.
connection to it. Like, I enjoy having work friends. I think having work friends is cool as shit because you have a homie that you chill with at work. But then when I go somewhere else, I'm not really inviting them out to hang out with me outside of that space because I don't want anything else to build on that. We can build that relationship at work, but like, that's where it stays. Romantic situation, I would not encourage anybody to. Now, there's a difference between
Mm.
already being involved with somebody and then you open a mom and pop shop somewhere or you do
Yeah,
something like that. But don't shit where you eat, bro.
Mm-hmm.
fair
Don't
enough.
do it.
Yeah. All right. That was 5 minutes on that. Rick, any final word on it?
I mean, I guess let's say like five, like like real speed run synopsis of things I seen when I worked at the place I worked at. Like I said, I worked in a humongous supermarket chain, and just to give you 5 fast stories, I had people who were managers that they were the same ranks. And for this place, you have hourly supervisors and you have salary supervisors, or salary managers and hourly managers. Yeah, there was 2 of them are married. One of them was a front end morning time manager, and the other person was in the back end morning time as well. Turns out the husband cheated on the wife with a manager in a different department, and that dynamic really became toxic to the point where she stood the morning, he had to become overnight. And then you had the front end. As every 6 months that store switches out the front end assistant manager. So every assistant manager gets a turn for each department. So every 6 months, you get a new assistant manager to the front. And one of the assistant managers, when she came into the front, her baby daddy was a cashier.
No.
You're not supposed to be a manager of anybody you have any relationship with, like marriage, dating, or being a parent. So she hid that, and they found out, and they kicked him. And I think they let him go. So you have that kind of situations, and then you had another assistant manager that came in. He started being very flirty with all the cashiers, and one of them he gave her very special treatment. So she's a cashier, but she was never on the cashier. She was never on the register. She was always sorting, or she would help him with certain things, or she will help push carts. She would do other tasks, or he would try to get her immediately into customer service, which is obviously is a promotion and is a boost pay, and all these things were happening. And then the store manager kind of caught on to that, and I guess he found out that they were a thing. And they try to have her transferred, and he actually ended up leaving the store. I have him as a friend on Facebook, and they're currently engaged.
Damn.
But because of the dynamic, he had to leave the store entirely. He had to go back to the state where he worked at. He originally was in New Jersey. He had to go back to Pennsylvania because the store manager's like, yeah, you can't work here no more. If you're gonna continue flirting with your cashiers, I can't have you work here. They kicked him out into Pennsylvania. She then left to transfer into his Walmart, and they became engaged. And that's a whole the whole situation. There's more, but
goodness gracious,
we'll talk more about it another time.
Yeah, and
Wow.
And the last thing you wanted to talk about, Chad, for the last little bit.
Oh yeah, the kind of the focus of my thought that I had was just like how quick public outrage happens over things that are pretty trivial.
My God.
The newest one being the Oscar nomination, where a Oscar award winner was labeled as identifying as Asian instead of just being an Asian person won this award. It was like a person who identifies as Asian. You had people on the right wing and left wing absolutely losing their mind on NPR for calling it that. Is it the biggest deal? No, it's not the biggest deal, but it baffled me that within minutes of that happening, I saw it all over the place, people freaking out about it. Another example of this, and Nate and I have already reacted to a video that kind of talked about it a little bit, was whenever the Dark Side of the Moon anniversary happened and Pink Floyd shared their logo from Dark Side of the Moon. All these boomers on social media were like, look at that rainbow in your symbol. You bent the knee at the woke agenda. You're blah, 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 blah. It's like, dude, that's literally the artwork from the Dark Side of the Moon had a rainbow in it since the 70s. What the hell is wrong with you people?
And
this has nothing to do with that.
And some of them were anti-woke Zoomers, too, who've listened to Pink Floyd like once. And they aren't aware of like that's the artwork literally on their album. Like one of the most famous album artworks ever.
I'm done with this woke shit. I'm never listening to Pink Floyd again. It's like, this is one of the most iconic album covers of all time. How can you miss this?
Well, and people want to be outraged. They want to just. That's one thing I'm noticing, dude. Nobody, like, most of the time, people don't actually give a shit about the thing that they're complaining about. They just want to complain and have people pay attention to them. That's it. And I hate that. I hate the fact that that's a reality and that people think that should be how it is. Instead of just being like, dude, if you're upset about something, come up with a clear, concise argument on why you're upset about it and put that out there instead of just being like, me angry, pay attention, give me attention. Like that's
we've
all it
seen, through research that's the easiest emotion to get to.
Yes.
Your brain goes to anger quicker than anything else.
Yeah.
It takes no brain power to get mad.
It's that little switch that just
look at the boys.
Oh
Yeah.
When with Stormfront, she was saying, "Hey, my ratings are higher because I get people angry." It's just the truth. The angrier the person, the angrier the mob is, the louder the voice and the more ratings you get, and people respond with anger. Yeah. And this is gonna be a hot take, but Americans make American angry.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's not a hot take.
We're our own
it's
worst
true.
enemy. We are our own worst enemies, dude.
We are our own worst enemies because people are upset about. She's saying I identify as Asian, but we are the only country that specifies race.
She didn't ask NPR to do that.
No,
they did that on their own. So it's she just wasn't. All she did was win an award, and they were like, "She identifies as Asian." It's like, what else are you going to identify her as?
Well,
and
what are you talking about?
If you go to different countries and you say, "Oh, what is Obama?" Oh, he's an American president. He's an American president. Okay, you go to Berlin. Well, who was Obama? He's an American president. All right, you go to Australia. Who was Obama? He's an American president. All right, who's Doja Cat? She's an American artist. You go to all these different countries. You name all these people from different, skin tones. Everybody from different countries are gonna say, "Oh, they're American this, American that." We're the only ones to say, "Oh, Obama's our first black president." Even though he's equally as much white as he is black.
Actually, Rick, in order to be more proper and correct, it's the first African American.
But same thing with Logic, he's pale, so people see he's white, but he's biracial. He says in every fucking track he has. But the point is, he looks white. People are gonna pass him off as white, but he's equally as black as he is white. But people are gonna say, "Oh, he's a wannabe Eminem." Because he's a rapper who's white.
Yeah.
But he's also black.
What's that one reverend? Barack Hussein Obama. Y'all are voting for Barack Hussein Obama. What's wrong with y'all?
I was gonna say, I swear to God, that preacher is Uncle Ruckus's cousin or something like that.
He has to be. Shit's so funny.
Yeah.
But we make ourselves angry. Saying, we make ourselves angry. When you put a label on people that don't really need a label.
Well,
at the end of the day, African Americans, they're Americans.
Yeah.
Latino Americans are just Americans. Everybody who's in this country are Americans. If you're born here, you're American.
And you
but we're the only one that.
Well, and that's the thing. You can identify with the culture that your ancestry comes from. There's no problem with that, as long as
there is for white people. White people cannot identify with their ancestry.
No.
I have seen that called racist.
Well, no,
I have seen that called racist. I have seen people call it. I have seen people saying if you're proud of your ethnic heritage and you're white, then you're racist.
Bullshit. I've heard that too. Bullshit. I heard that, unfortunately.
Anyone who says that seriously needs to open up a history book and read how much suffering has happened dude, read Thomas Sowell. Do yourself a favor. You'll understand just how petty you are for thinking the way that you do.
Apparently by media, you are a neo. If you think you could be proud of your heritage.
Oh yeah,
Celtic crosses, all that shit are labeled as
Italian.
Hate symbols.
If you want to be proud that you're Italian, or if you want to be proud that you're you're French or Polish, or it's just like Kate, just like Zach. Zach's most of his family's Irish, and his wife is half Polish, and she speaks Polish. And her and her mom speak about Poland, like wanting to go to Poland and all that. Like, they're not allowed to be proud of their ancestry. They're not allowed to be proud of where they come from or anything like that.
Not in woke America.
Because of the shade of their skin. Fuck off.
Dude, I've seen recently there's a movement to consider Jewish people and Asian people as white people.
Even though how's that gonna work for like motherfuckers like Sammy Davis Jr., a black man who just so happens to be Jewish? Like, how's that gonna work?
Then he can just identify as like a mixed black person.
He can identify as white.
But I swear, like, even Asian people, like, I have seen people say that Asian people should be considered white people.
Yep. I think that was in California.
Privilege.
Yeah,
it's
and
ridiculous.
All this. It's like the fact that we're getting to the point where identity politics is forcing, if you're seen as white, it means that you're evil. Like what the fuck is that? Like, why is that? Is it because of just, this perception of history that only white people have committed atrocities?
I honestly, this is just my hot take. I honestly think that it comes from a fear of common people coming together and not being afraid of our differences and seeing each other as equals and treating each other with respect and growing with each other. That's the worst. Like, if people want to control you, the last thing they want you to do is love your neighbor and have friends and have people's backs, because a conglomerate of people is so much harder to control than if they're all scattered.
Yep.
Yes. Well,
if we as a society get rid of race and us as a society stop labeling people as anything, that is when the media loses all its power.
Well, not only
and
that,
now they can no longer control, and they can no longer control the hate, because right now you have oppositions.
Yes.
You have one side that's telling you all white people are bad, and all white people in this particular party, they're trying to remove history of this certain demographics. So if you ever see a person that that has this skin tone, make sure you yell at them, or you beat them up, or you just look at them with pity. And then the same thing on the other side. Oh, just to let you know, if you're always going to be superior than the other race. The moment that's gone, and we all come together and they actually have good harmony, power's gone.
That's what the Klan wants. If you look at what the Klan's whole goal is, it's to keep the pure race. They don't want mixed relationships. They don't want anything like that, So you find racist groups like the Black Israelites and the Klan have so much in common.
Yes. It's crazy because, people are so, like, it's so easy to, like, put people at odds with one another because they're, especially people who are young and don't know, like, the facts of the world and everything, and just are so quick to believe it because this person's like saying this out loud passionately, and it must be the truth. It's the cult of personality, and it happens so often, and I hate seeing it happen like that, because it's just it doesn't need to be like that. We don't need to start drawing knives at one another and just being like you're a different skin color than me. If you come close to me, I'm gonna fucking stab you. It's like why? Like, why? What did this person do? It's like this person over here. It's like, hey Rick, do you like Pokemon cards? Hey Chad, do you like Pokemon cards?
Hell no.
Okay, well, racism lives on. There we go.
Yeah, but it would be no different than like we're in this room together. We have a lot of things in common. We don't agree on everything, but you guys are good dudes, and I'm glad to be able to spend time with you. But if I were to hold a prejudice against Rick because Bruiser Brody got stabbed to death in Puerto Rico, he had nothing to do with that.
Yes,
but he is Puerto Rican.
Yes.
So I could be mad at him forever about Bruiser Brody getting killed in Puerto Rico.
Oh, not only that, but where he's also half Cuban. Where I had a family member die getting shot down over Cuba, and it was Fidel Castro's fault. And Rick's Cuban. I'm just like, oh, he's Cuban. Because because of people like you, my uncle didn't make it back from when he was supporting the Bay of Pigs invasion. It's like nothing to do with him.
Well, it has
Nothing.
nothing to do with us.
Yep.
None of
Nothing.
that
I
stuff
have
has
a
anything to do with
huge
us.
hot take. I might be looked as a traitor to my own kind.
Uh,
So
go
you
ahead.
have people in this country, Native Americans, they have their tribes, and they try their best to keep it like, let's say that somebody's 1/16th, another person's 1/16th.
Hmm.
There's people in this country that are trying to keep the natives' blood as much native as they can. In
Yeah.
Puerto Rico, you have Puerto Rico's real name is not as Puerto Rico, is Borican. That's why
Boricua. Yeah.
that's why we call that's what we call ourselves, Boricua, because the island's real name is Borican, and we had our Taino Indians. So our Indians were called Tainos, and a few parts of Puerto Rico, Tainos that are people like 1/8 Taino only make sure they're getting wives or husbands that are also at least 1/8 or 1/16th. They're trying to keep that bloodline pure. So it's okay for the Native Americans and the Boricans to try to keep their lineage pure. But when you have the white people saying that they want to keep their lineage pure, they're evil.
Oh,
But it's
yeah.
okay for Boricans and the natives and all these other groups that may have been, their numbers may have been reduced. It's okay for them to do it. But when others have the same ideas because they're proud of their heritage, they're evil.
Oh, and it's just like my girlfriend that I had like the strongest feelings for. We loved each other and everything. And her dad, like very moment I met him, he was just like, "No, I don't want my daughter dating someone lighter skinned than her. So, no, no, yeah, I can't have this."
Yeah, that's racism.
That is, and
But that's
30.
fine. That's quote unquote fine if you're
Mhm.
you're part of the African American family. It's okay for you to only have continue a lineage of having pure blacks in your family.
Oh, but that's the funny thing. His wife was Colombian. His wife
Mhm.
was fucking Colombian, and I'm not, and she wasn't like ultra dark skinned, but she wasn't quite Shakira, but she also wasn't. She was more closer to Sofia Vergara in terms of her skin tone and in terms of like her looks and everything. But dude, I just hate the fact that the divisiveness and just people wanting to put that up in any way, like if someone loves somebody regardless of skin color, it's like, dude, why should it matter? Why should it fucking matter? It doesn't.
Semantics
None of it.
take over. It gets very trivial and it gets very what makes me right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That becomes the more important thing. A lot of these values and things that are being preached when it comes to like the pure, purity of a race or whatever,
yeah.
it all comes down to like, I want to look down on somebody, you're not
The
me, and
purest.
this is the like, default mode where I can just be right.
It's like, oh
Yeah,
yeah. It's like,
Japan.
okay. Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, the purest of light white people. It's like, okay, let's go to like where the Caucasus Mountains are. What Caucasians are actually named after.
Mhm.
Find the whitest motherfuckers there and just like only have them breed with each other. Period.
Or
That's it.
just draw the Reddit mods out of their basements who haven't seen sun in years. You'll have the purest white people ever. It's like, you're
but
Mexican. Yes, but
but
I've been in my
Japan
basement for
operates
10
like that.
years.
Oh yeah,
Japan operates.
Japan is a
Japan
is
is
a big
openly
ethno-state.
xenophobic.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're openly xenophobic and they're fine with that. If you are American or if you're any other race and you go to one of the restaurants, sometimes you have the chef that'll point at you and they go like that. There's
Hmm.
times they will not serve people who are not Japanese, and a lot of the
Yeah.
Japanese parents are traditional and they want their daughters. They either arrange a marriage or they will have the daughter married under the Japanese man. But that's fine. That's okay. But when white people do it, they're evil.
Their culture is completely different, and I
Yeah.
think when we're talking about these things, taking it outside of the United States is a difficult thing because um, I don't agree with it, but
No.
it's not really my culture to agree with it. That's their mess to
No.
clean up, in my opinion.
Well, I
You
mean,
know.
they have a falling population, and that's a problem, and it'll be a problem within like the next 20, 30 years.
Hmm.
Yep.
And I mean, their population they predict is going to dip below 100 million within the next 20 years, and that, considering they were a nation of over 128 to like 130 million, to lose almost 1/3 or a quarter of your full population within 25 to 30 years because of like your ethno-state that you're trying so hard to preserve, you got a problem, dude. You got a big problem.
Well, it proves that racism is wrong, dude. It proves that that mentality is just
It's pure homogeny. It's like you're homogeneous of everything, and you keep everything in this tight knit little circle that doesn't expand, doesn't do anything. It's like the tree spreads out, roots spread out, limbs spread out. That's how it's supposed to be. Instead, it's just like you look at Japan, and it's just like a stick that just goes straight up.
Bamboo.
Yeah. God dang it! You had. Oh.
He did it. He really did it.
So again, I ask in terms of like this racism shit.
Why is everyone so fucking stupid?
Yeah. So
everybody love everybody. Jackie Moon.
So all right, we're gonna have to kill it here, everybody, because I know we ran a little bit over, and I'm sorry about that, Chad. We'll let you get to what you need to get to. I got a few things to run. So again, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to our initial.
Thanks, y'all.
Yeah, initial episode of the Beardy Boys podcast. So if you want to see more, hey, subscribe, leave a like on the video. I'm not going to tell you to do everything, but if you could do one of these three things, either like the video, subscribe, share this video, put it out there for the world to see. You're probably going to see shorts from this, and you're probably going to see pieces and parts of this maybe on TikTok, maybe on Instagram. We'll see how things flow out whenever we get running up to full steam. But again, if you've made it this far, thank you so much. And for any support you want to offer in the future, hey, feel free to reach out to us. And until next time, I'm Nate.
I'm Rick.
I'm Chad.
And y'all take care, everybody. Be good people.